Hey friends, last day of January, we made it. So I kind of feel like I needed to do a bit of a follow-up after yesterday's video. All of that stuff is still really up for me. And if you watched that video and you felt connected to it, you might be in the same place. And I thought that this might be helpful. I um I did some meditation with HeartSoul Essence and asked for guidance on how to proceed in a situation where you feel like you have to fawn in order to be safe or to proceed. Um, how to set boundaries with people, when you don't feel safe. Um, so yeah, so this is what I got. The first thing was know that no one has authority over you. Feel that for a second in your body. No one has authority over you. And that's really big, right? Because in our society, from the time we're born, we're programmed and conditioned into believing that there's always someone that has authority over us. First it's our parents or caregivers, and then teachers, and then bosses, and then, it's like partners. We're conditioned, most of us, from a very young age to give away our power to an authority figure. Religion is another big one. But spirit wants you to know that that's not valid. No one has authority over you. And that's the first rule. The second, if people make demands, it is completely appropriate and okay to ask for time. And that's always a big one for me because people make demands, I panic, I kind of suss out the situation. Does this person have authority over me? If I say the wrong thing, will it hurt me? Will it ruin my life? Will I, lose something important? All of those things. And that determines whether I say, what decision I make. And it's usually, if the person has any authority in my life, and by authority, let's backtrack for 1 second. By authority, I mean you feel that they have the power to take away your safety, right? Someone's an authority over us. They have the power to remove our safety. And that can look like, financial safety, physical safety, emotional safety. They have that power over us because, we've given it to them. It's completely okay to ask for time. And give yourself that time. And if they push you, if they demand that you answer them in that moment, then that person does not respect you. They don't respect you. They don't respect your boundaries. And that is grounds for dismissal from your life. 3, in order to be clear within yourself, you need to slow down and settle first. And that means not making quick decisions. You need to slow down and listen to all of your parts that are talking. Set boundaries within yourself and then tune into HeartSoul Essence. And I don't say this for every decision, just big ones. The decisions that when someone is demanding something of you, requesting something of you, and you feel that fawning response coming on, you feel that trigger, you feel that anxiety, that dis-ease within you, that needs to be your personal trigger to ask for space and time so that you can get clear on what you're feeling, what your needs are, what your wants are, all of those things in relation to your parts that are screaming, but also, and more importantly, from your heart soul essence level, right? Because ultimately we want to listen to all of our parts so that they feel heard, but ultimately our decision needs to come from our grounded connection with our higher self, with our heart soul essence, because that aspect of us knows what's in our highest and greatest good. So, in able to do that, we need to learn to recognize what it feels like in your body when you're beginning to fawn, or when you're having that impulse to fawn, to please and appease, to shut down. What does it feel like? You need to memorize it. You need to know all your senses. How does it feel? How does it smell? How does it taste? How does it look? What are the sensations? All of it. You need to memorize it, because that is going to be your trigger. Like I said, that's going to be your trigger for you to know that you need to ask for time and space. Know that most of the time in our life, most situations are not life and death. Our hypervigilance will make us feel otherwise, which can make us like react right away. We have to give a decision. We have to appease. We have to fawn. We have to, whatever. We have to run, whatever. That's just a loop, right? It's a programming loop played by your wounded parts to keep you safe. That's part of the hypervigilance. Most of the time, I mean, obviously there are times when we're in a situation that's not safe, and you need to, as much as you can, you need to remove yourself from that situation. Absolutely. So sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So I asked Heart Soul Essence how, when I've asked for space and time, how do we navigate that inner landscape of clamoring voices begging for safety? How do we navigate that? And what I got was that we need to create a safe room, right? A safe room inside of ourselves, a place where all of our parts can come and be heard and valued and honored and acknowledged. And you go there when you feel like you're ready to fawn, right? You ask for time and space. You go to that safe room. You go to that safe place so that you can listen to that internal dialogue that's going on within you. And when you're able to do that, with Heart Soul Essence present, when you're able to do that, you can then try to start meeting those needs and reassuring those parts that the decision that adult you and Heart Soul Essence are going to make, that the boundaries that you are going to set are going to be in their highest and greatest good, and that you will protect them and keep them safe, and that no harm is going to come to them. That's really important. And sometimes a good place to start with setting boundaries is with those wounded parts, and stopping and listening and just creating that safe container for them to emote and to get it all out. and talk to them like you would talk to your own child standing in front of you who is scared to death about something, and reassure them and love them and create that feeling of safety for them. And that is how you set a boundary with them. They're not going to be allowed to run the show, but they are going to be held and contained in loving safety. Does that make sense? And then we teach them how to set their own boundaries by example. Because it's really those wounded parts that get activated, right? That need to learn how to set appropriate boundaries. And setting appropriate boundaries and, and communicating with other people doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to, you don't have to yell anyone down. And if you do, if that's where you need to go, then, right, we need to take time and space once again and go back to that safe room and find those parts that feel like they can only be heard if they scream and yell and shout someone down. Because that's what they needed to do when they were little, and it's completely valid. But as adults, we don't necessarily want to be that person, because then we become the bully that bullied us. And we don't want that. We need to learn to communicate from a grounded, heart-centered place. And if people cannot hear that, that is your sign that they are not a safe person to have in your life, and you need to walk away from them. And that could be a partner, it could be a parent or a caregiver, that could be a boss, that could be, a religious leader, that could be a teacher, that could be a friend, that could be anyone in your life. If they are not able to accept your boundaries when you express them plainly and calmly and lovingly, then they're not safe for you. And I know that, for some people, this might be challenging for a variety of reasons. You might be young and you might not be able to walk away from your caregiver. You might not be able to walk away from a marriage just yet. You might not be able to walk away from a job just yet. And that's okay. Keep practicing, keep setting those boundaries, and keep using those boundary violations as an opportunity to get yourself stronger until you can find the resources to remove yourself from that situation. It's challenging. I know. So challenging. Because it feels like we're losing everything. And we may be losing everything that we've known. But if what we've known is not healthy and good and nurturing, it's not really a loss. It might feel like a loss, and it's okay to grieve that. But what you are creating with your whole self is going to blow your mind, because it's going to be so amazing. And you're going to give yourself everything that you ever needed from the people that couldn't meet you where you were and couldn't see you and couldn't respect you. And we just need to practice with our parts, just like you would sit with another person. Practice and believe people when they show you who they are. When they shout you down and they shame you and they try and control you and manipulate you, believe that. And instead of fawning, go within to that safe room and process and get those parts kind of shored up and in a good place so that when you go back, you can communicate very clearly that that type of behavior is not okay. I am not okay with being spoken to like this. And if you do it again, I will leave. That's it. So, yeah, it's a lot. I know it's a lot. And losing financial security is scary, really scary, because so many of us are living right on that edge, right? Living right, just right on that edge, you know, losing any little bit is like can put us right down into a hole. Believe me, I know. And it feels like such a struggle, right? The finances, trying to, you know, take care of our basic needs feels like such a struggle. And no, I just need you to hear that it's not you. This system is built on struggle for the majority of people. The whole system, its foundation is struggle. That's part of the program. And the fact that you're feeling it because it's real, it's there. They create that struggle. It doesn't have to be that way, but they create it. And they make you believe that you have to struggle and suffer and give everything up in order to be successful, to have the life that you dream of, to have your heart, you know, fulfilled, to, you know, not have to live paycheck to paycheck. I said struggle and scarcity that's built into the program. But what if we don't have to struggle? What if we reframe the hard work that we put in to create the lives that we want? What if we reframe it as not a struggle, but as a joyful practice, as like loving ourselves so fiercely that we're not going to accept anything less than what we deserve? What if we don't buy in to their scarcity? And I know that kind of sounds kind of like nebulous and out there because it's real, right? It's tangible. You can look at your bank account. I can look at my bank account and be like, yeah, don't know how I'm going to buy food this week. And it's hard, you know, and I don't want to say just, oh, that's not real, pretend like it's not there, because that's not real, right? That's not being truthful. It is there. That part is real because that's built into the system. But we can build a new system together. One that's not based on scarcity, one that's not based on struggle. But we can't do that if we're buying in to their system. And I'm still working all of this through, right? So I don't know that I mean, I absolutely don't have any tangible steps right now. Except that when we are able to connect with HeartSoul Essence and connect through our timelines, we do know how to do this. We just don't remember. because we're overwhelmed. We're in a trauma bond with the matrix, right? And so we fawn to them. We fawn to their bullying and their gaslighting and telling us that, we can't have nice things because, we like to buy coffee and eat avocado toast. And it's all bullshit. Can we take that time to go to that safe room and unhook our wounded ones from this matrix energetically so that they're not fawning to the system? And if they're no longer fawning to the system and they're no longer trauma bonded to the matrix, and your heart soul essence is guiding you on your organic path, I like to imagine that world because I think and I feel and I know that it'll be a really beautiful place. Because deep down inside, all of you know who you are. You know your power, your magic, your strength, your wisdom, your deep connection. Dog barking. You all know who you are. Take a moment to go inside and reconnect. The ride is here. So I'm going to end for today. Know that I'm right here with you. And if you need to talk about any of this or sit with any of this, you can reach out to me. Give me a comment. Like and share with anyone that you feel like needs to hear this. Blessed be.